Let's go and get this started. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining the April 2nd edition of the Rally Community Call. Today, we have a couple of special guest speakers. So we're really excited to share with you guys what we have going on over at the Rally.io network. Today's agenda, new creators will be over to Mahesh. We have a special guest and an interview with myself and llmind. We have KPIs going over to Mike, as well as token supply, network rewards over to Mike. We do have an update on that. And we'll send over to the CoinList update with Bremner. And we have a conversation with XTina, owner of the WOMXN, and then we also have a Q&A for anybody in the audience. Before we get started, just to keep in mind, please keep your guys' self on mute. If you guys have any questions, please post in chat, and we will get to those at the end of the segment. So we'll go and throw over to Mahesh for the new creators.
All right, so we've got a bunch of these, so I'll try to go through these pretty quickly. So the first up is Dr. Sohaib of the Doc Coin. So Dr. Sohaib runs the Human Behavior Club on Clubhouse, which is, I believe, the largest club on Clubhouse with, it sounds like it's got about 350,000 members. And so he's using the coin for private rooms, paying moderators in the room, and providing users access to notes, which is like a big thing in there. They take a lot of notes on different topics in their community. That's Dr. Sohaib. Moving on, we've got the Power coin. I'll actually turn this one over to Rob to give a bit of an overview.
Yeah, so Power is a group founded by Dendi Pretendi, one of the bigger SoCal tournament organizers around Smash. And so right now they're currently giving out pot bonuses and prize pools. So you can either choose between receiving a PayPal payment of, let's say, $50, or to get your prizing done in Power directly for $100. They're also adding a monthly subscription. So once they're able to fully ramp up their weekly operations, there'll be 2 or 3 competitions per week that you can basically save on reg fees by opting into their monthly events. And they'll also be one of the first groups to run regular special rules tournaments for Smash, including single character tournaments to find the best Link or Fox or Peach or whoever in the world. The other big thing about Power is that they're currently working out a deal with a venue in SoCal so that as soon as vaccines are more available, they'll actually be using the Power coin exclusively for live tournament registration. So very excited to see this one grow.
Okay, and then on the kind of business influencer slash social audio creator side, we've got Brian Fanzo, who is the founder of iSocial Fans. He's a founder of the ADHD Superpowered Club on Clubhouse, which is all about, ADHD, of course. And so he's using the coin for sponsored content in that room, as well as doing private rooms on Clubhouse, which is certainly a recurring theme with many of our audio creators. Moving on, we've got Evan Kirstel. So he's a B2B thought leader. He helps, big technology brands achieve more visibility in the social media landscape. And so he's using the coin for podcast monetization, various consulting services, one-on-one, sessions with folks in his coin communities, as well as funding various meetups at conferences that he had. Next up, we've got Peter with the Next Coin. So Peter's an author, speaker, serial entrepreneur. Similarly to a lot of our other business thought leaders, they've really gravitated around utilizing their coin around speaking engagements, heavily using the coin on Clubhouse, LinkedIn, and Twitter, as well as corporate sponsorships. And so this is the concept of, if you've got sponsors, having them, instead of writing you a check, buying your coin, and then potentially even distributing that coin out to the community as kind of an interesting marketing activation event. And so that's a really interesting phenomenon we've seen more on the B2B, kind of the business influencer side of things, where they have many relationships with large tech companies and kind of deep-pocketed corporate sponsors. So it's a very interesting, participant in a token economy. And are there any more? I think there's. Oh yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Grant, do you want to? I'll turn this over to you.
Yeah. Well, new creator that we're really excited about, llmind, founder of the Black Coin. Ramon is a 2-time Grammy Award-winning, 7-time Grammy nominated multi-platform music producers with the likes of Jay-Z, Beyonce, Drake, Lil Uzi Vert, and llmind. We have him on here, and I want to bring him on. I want to ask him a couple of questions, but we're really excited to talk to him about his launch and what he has planned for his coin, and really the other ventures they've been taking in terms of NFTs and just blockchain in general. So let me bring llmind up here, and I have a couple of questions for him.
Hey, what's up, Grant?
There we are. Awesome. Il, nice to talk to you again. Me and Il just jumped off of a Clubhouse room not too long ago, a couple minutes ago. We covered a lot of information. So, Il, I just wanted to kind of ask you, how did you get into music and producing first and foremost? Where did you come from, and what really got you your interest in music?
Yeah, first of all, thank you, Grant. Thank you, all you guys, everyone at Rally.io. You guys are incredible, amazing, and really happy to be here. And thank you guys for using that picture of me from 15 years ago. I look so good. I wish I still looked that good. So yeah, man, basically I got into music. My dad was a musician. I'm Filipino, so he was actually he played guitar in a band, and they used to do like weddings and private parties and stuff like that. So growing up, I was always around music. He was also really into like composing his own music as well. And I just remember growing up listening to just all different types of music. I mean, he was a big, classic rock, soul, jazz guy. So a lot of that, a lot of MJ, a lot of Stevie Wonder, all the usual guys. And there's just always music around my life. And so when I got older, when I, middle school, high school days, I started really getting into hip hop. And when that happened, I started, just diving in headfirst into that world and figured out what a music producer was and who was making the beats and how do you make beats and what is this all about? I want to do this too. And I got into it. So, I invested what little money I had into beat machines and records and chopping samples and figuring out how all that stuff works. And I just kind of dove in head first and just never stopped since. And here I am, almost 20 years later, and I'm really just happy to be doing this. So that was kind of my start in the whole thing.
Awesome. One thing that I've noticed, and I've pulled from talking to you now on like a daily basis, me and you have become this really cool like friendship, also as partners now. And I'm going to bring up Jonathan, your manager, and I'd love to get Jonathan to chat with us a little later on in a community call like this. But what first interested you in crypto and in blockchain and NFTs? Because you use the word disrupt a lot, right? We talked about it in our Clubhouse chat, and you've done a ton of really cool things. You're about doing it first. Tell us what it means to be doing it first, but not only that, about your interest in crypto and what you want to disrupt.
Yeah, so just to be transparent with you guys, I really started getting a little more heavier into crypto maybe like 2 years ago. But prior to that, back in 2013, I had integrated Bitcoin into my Shopify storefront. So just a little background. In 2011, I had released my own music producer drum kit, which is basically just a digital folder of drum sounds that I created from scratch, right? So snare drums, kick drums, hi-hats, percussion loops. And back then in 2011, in the music producer ecosystem, there really wasn't too much of that going on. A lot of us back then were using keyboards and sampling from records and doing loops. And so there really wasn't any marketplace for digital drum kits. So in 2011, I had released a drum kit on my blog site, and it was like a PayPal button where basically people just like pay me $20, and then I email them this like private zip file of like drum kits. And so I did that, in response to there being a demand for wanting more drum sounds, right? Like back then, it wasn't really like that easy to get a hold of sounds like you do now. And so I did that, and I didn't think anything of it, and it ended up like really blowing up. And so I migrated my business, my drum kit business, to Shopify in 2012, and I've been using it ever since. And then in 2013, Shopify integrated, Bitcoin into it, and it was still very early. I wasn't really thinking anything of it. I didn't think it would be anything big, and so I had ended up accepting Bitcoin payments, and I wish I threw those Bitcoins into a wallet, because back then they converted directly into cash, and that was it. And so I was going back to my calculations, and if I had threw those in a wallet and held them, things would be a lot different right now. But I don't regret it. It was an experience, a learning experience. And fast forward to now, I'm really loving the space. I'm loving, obviously what you guys are doing and being a part of the ecosystem. And it's all very exciting and new.
Awesome. Now you're a producer that has accomplished so much. I mean, your resume speaks for yourself. Every time we get on a meeting, I just find myself staring at all these plaques behind you, right? Some of my favorite artists, and even some probably in here. How do you compare
the green screen? These are.
How do you compare launching your own coin on Rally to some of your other significant accomplishments in your professional career? What does this mean to you?
Guys, like, you don't understand. this means so much to me because I've always dreamed of something like this, right? I didn't know it would be this. I didn't know it would be, a currency, backed by, a rally coin and ERC20 and stuff. I didn't know what it was, but I knew I wanted it to be something. And so, like I said, in 2011, when I had released my digital product and it really started to take off and, like, again, I'll use the word disrupt the music creator ecosystem and literally create a brand new revenue stream for people like me, that evolved to starting my own podcast. I did in 2013. And then I started my own fan club, which is also a Shopify integration back in 2014, where music producers could, sign up for the club and they would get monthly drum kits. And I would do, back then we were using Ustream. I don't know if you guys remember Ustream, but I was doing Ustream, like group calls with producers and doing that with my club. And then in 2015, I started doing these tours where I would, travel across the globe and do these like limited tickets of like 20 people that would purchase a ticket. And I would basically invite them to a private studio location. And we would be in the studio and everyone would be there, play their own music. I would give them constructive criticism. We would do collaborations. And I started doing that in 2000. I did it in 2016. And obviously when COVID hit, we had to stop doing it and I started doing them over Zoom. So it's just stuff like that. I've always, in addition to being a music producer, which is what I am, you guys see the fake green screen in the back with the fake plaques. Like, this is what I do. I'm a music producer and I'm so grateful to be able to do this. But for years, I've always been fascinated by what I can do as a creator for my community, whether it's a drum kit or whether it's private studio sessions or whether it's Zoom calls or a private club or whatever it is. And so being with you guys and dropping a coin on Rally allows for me to take all of these activations that I've done in the past decade and consolidate them into this ecosystem that's forward thinking, exciting. It's educating my fans into, a taste of crypto as well. And all these different perks that I get to offer them is really, really exciting. So yeah, it's one of those things that I never knew I always wanted. And I feel as though all of these things that I've done in the past have all just kind of led to this Blap coin with you guys. So I'm super stoked.
Awesome. One last question for you, Il, and I think, me and you we've been chatting like this, for quite some time, and we've talked about the use cases and such at 6 o'clock in the morning, at 12 o'clock at night. It doesn't matter, right? We're 24/7 talking about use cases, but I want you to share with the group, in a general sense, what do you plan on using your coin for? Not only that, can you touch a little bit on what it means to be able to use your coin and directly tie it to charity over in the Philippines?
Yeah, so a few things. So the charity aspect, I'm really, really, really just like excited about because, being a Filipino American, my parents were both from the Philippines. They immigrated to America in the 80s, I want to say. And when they came here, their generation was basically, you go to nursing school in the Philippines, you become a nurse or a caregiver, you come to America and you find opportunity here, you make enough money and you send that money back home, right? That's like a thing that a lot of, first generation Filipinos do is they come to America, they earn money here, and then they send money back home to their family so that they can use that American dollar for everything and anything that they need to use it for. And my mom, since then, my mom's retired now, but she's been a nurse for like 40 years, 30 years. And literally every month, I think she would send like $500 or something back home to her father. And he's got a farm back home and he's doing his thing. And still to this day, even though she's retired, she still does it. And so I was thinking about that. And then I was thinking about my trip to the Philippines that I made last year, right before COVID. It was January 2020. I got flown out to the Philippines to film a Netflix special with one of my good friends, Joe Coy, who's a Filipino comedian. And he invited me to film a music segment for his Netflix special called In His Elements. And I was out there for 10 days. It wasn't too long. And being out there again, that was only my third time out there in my whole life. Being out there really put the battery in my back, because I was like walking the streets. I'm like taking, bicycles and trolleys everywhere. And I'm looking around and I'm like, man, I see people that look just like me. The guy that's in front of the bank, like as a security guard, the guy over here who's got like a fruit basket on his head, bringing, food home to his family, or the guy that's just like sitting in the corner shirtless, just hanging out and not really doing anything. And in my mind, I'm like, man, I literally could have just been that guy, right? I could have been just another Filipino, in the Philippines, just figuring it out, trying to do it. And I realized that I was blessed with the opportunity to be Filipino American, to be here in America, being born here, and to take advantage of what it's like to chase my dreams out here. And in addition to that, this Guap album, him being half Filipino, we just dropped our album a couple weeks ago, which is very Filipino rooted in the rollout. All of these three things kind of led me to this point of, okay, llmind, like let's you have the resources now, let's start to try to put some energy into waving that Filipino flag and doing more for my home country. And I decided to take a portion of the the profits from the coin to donate to SaveTheChildren.org for Filipino children back home in the Philippines. And so that's just sort of like the beginning of my plans of what I want to do for my country back home, whether it's through music or donations or whatever. And I think this is like the perfect way to kickstart it. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know you have Twitch that we're looking to integrate. We have Discord, we have Instagram, Twitter. I mean, you made such a splash with your announcement. I will say, I'll speak probably for everyone when I say this. It has been a pleasure working with you, and we really are excited over at Rally to continue working with you and seeing where your coin goes.
Yeah, I'm super stoked. And just to quickly answer your second question, because I'm sure we don't have that much time, but my big sort of plans for the Black coin, it's a few things. Number one, I don't really know sort of what's beyond the headlights in detail. But what I do know is that as long as it's scaling to the point where this thing is helping people or providing some kind of service to people that need something, whether it's a music producer or, an artist who purchases an llmind beat, goes on to do amazing things and become a positive influence for his crowd because of my beat, those types of things I'm really looking forward to. And just a lot more of what I'm kind of on track of doing, you know what I mean? I just want to continue to make great music and be a musician and do what I love, but also educate my community and empower people, inspire people in the best way that I could, and see where it goes.
Yeah, Dave Young and Overachiever, they typed in chat a couple minutes ago, he gets it. And I think that's right. I think you get it. And I think you're so leaned in, and it's amazing to see. It's really exciting to work with a creator like you. So I appreciate you jumping on here and chatting with us and working with us.
Yeah, I appreciate you so much.
Well, thank you. We're going to go throw it back over to Kurt. And now we're going to go over to Mike for KPIs.
All right. Hey, guys. So I'll try to do these KPIs quickly, since I know we've got some more content after this. Over on the mainnet, we continue to have an increase in our total liquidity across our Uniswap and Balancer pools, getting close to 100 million in liquidity. So it's great. We've also had a pretty phenomenal week in general this week. I think a lot of all-time highs here. So it's the first time we've had over $1 million in bridges in. In fact, it's quite a bit more, $2.5 million worth of rally was bridged in from mainnet to the sidechain. Moving over to the sidechain, getting close to 10 million rally back in creator coins, and an additional 4 million rally that's just sitting as rally on the sidechain. An all-time high in terms of average daily volume, almost getting to $600,000 in average daily volume. Other key numbers here. We've had probably our largest week of credit card and crypto in purchases of coins, due in large part to folks like llmind and his coin launch and others. At $225,000 worth of buys and $1.8 million worth of converts in from rally to creator coins. So quite a phenomenal week this week on the sidechain. We move to the next slide. As you guys will recall, every week at the beginning, or every month at the beginning of the month, we'll try to estimate where the outstanding supply, circulating supply, of Rally is on the mainnet. It ended March at 123.3 million. That's down quite a bit from what we had forecasted at the beginning of the month. And a lot of that is just due to stuff getting deferred actually and delayed to this month. So you'll see at the end of April, we're forecasting it to be around 147 million Rally in the circulating supply. And then next slide, I'll talk a little bit about network rewards. So back in March, the community approved an update to the reward system. We've been working on it since then and finally plan to launch the new system tomorrow after this week's existing system finishes up its reward distribution. So it'll go live tomorrow, a little after 5 p.m. Pacific time. And then that means the first distribution of the new system would happen the following week on April 10th. So what's changed now is instead of the reward system calculating and then purchasing the creator coin itself and sticking it into a black hole wallet, the rewards will actually now be distributed directly as Rally coin into everyone's eligible account. And this is going to be distributed proportional to your creator coin ownership. So if there were 100 black coin in existence and Grant owned 10, he would get 10% of the reward distribution that week. Additionally, we've added some improvements so that the reward amounts per person are accumulated hourly. So people, if they want to get the entire reward, they have to be in from the beginning. Any hour they are not holding the coin is an hour they're not accumulating reward for that hour. But the distributions still happen weekly. So you'll accumulate it across the week. You'll see your reward number go up across the week, but you wouldn't actually get it until that Saturday. And the distributions happen randomly across a longer period of time on Saturday, not all in one. So, a number of the reasons why these changes were made, obviously listening to feedback from both creators and fans in the community. We like this a lot in that it generates more potential revenue to creators, which is one of our missions. And we think that this is a bit more equitable way to distribute the rewards versus the old system where it definitely favored people who could convert out of the coin soon after the distribution time. We still have more rewards changes to come. Some of these include changing it to be a claim system, which is fairly common across the crypto world. It's just not too efficient for us to be doing massive distributions all at once every week, as well as some qualification system that was in the original snapshot vote. And some improvements down the road for rewarding more than just total collateral under a coin, but also transactional things or commerce related things or other activities that also should qualify for rewards. So more stuff to come down the road as well. Thanks, everybody.
All right, we'll throw it over to Brynner for the CoinList update.
Hey folks, thanks everyone for being an active participant in the Discord community, especially as it's been going pretty gangbusters around the CoinList listing. And I really do appreciate everybody within the community who's been chiming in and helping govern the conversation in the CoinList channel. Recognize that it's a lot of similar questions and a lot of clarification. And I've noticed a lot of people on this call who've been jumping in and helping govern that conversation. So thanks for that. Just wanted to give a quick update that we are close to completing the CoinList listing, and we're about 12% away from the total allotment of tokens that we put forward for the CoinList listing. So closing in on the full allotment. I wanted to talk just very quickly about the rationale behind this listing and making it clear that it really was not about fundraising, but rather getting participation from foreign audiences and getting Rally's name and the Rally token in the hands of foreign crypto enthusiasts. So related to that, this really is a success in terms of getting this into the hands of people outside of the United States. And the fundraise component is just a nice sort of icing on the cake as a part of this listing. So thanks again to everybody who's been participating, and we're almost at the finish line and looking forward to closing this out. So just wanted to provide a very quick update there. Thanks.
Thank you, Brynner. All right. Well, we have a special guest today as well. Another
Indeed.
one. That's right. We're throwing it over to Jeremiah to do this interview. And
I'm so honored.
In the airstream, Rally color.
Yeah, I have the blue color on. XTina, I'm so delighted to introduce you. I'm honored. And in fact, I just wanted to start off with this quote from you that I think is just fantastic. XTina was interviewed, and her quote is, "At the end of the day, I want to change the face of power." That's a really powerful statement, not just to her personal mission to empower women and women of color, but also of cryptocurrency and DeFi, frankly. So XTina, welcome. Okay, let's pull her up. I saw her here briefly. Maybe I'll just give a little few words of introduction about her while she pulls up her camera. There she is. She is based in DC. She actually has a full-time job as a financial professional, which is really great in this type of project. But she also has one of the top 10 clubs, Women in Business, in Clubhouse. And it has this week achieved over 300,000 total fans, and she's just been on the platform for a very short period of time, just a few months, although Clubhouse is just a year old. And she's already had amazing guests. Like, she was able to broker the White House onto Clubhouse, and she brings in experts and CEOs, and she has a thriving community. Just one thing I'll share about her coin: it's been live since the early March, so not even a month. It is already has 122K total coins, 250,000 total support volume, and a price point of $9. It's like 3 to 4 weeks old. So she's really on a tear. XTina, welcome.
Hi, Jeremiah. Thank you so much. And I apologize for my technical difficulties.
I can hear you just great now. Thank you. Yeah,
okay.
I can hear you. Well, maybe you could start off with a quick introduction about yourself. Would love to hear a little bit more.
Sure. Thank you. So okay, sorry. Give me 1 second.
All right. Well, while XTina is kicking that off, one thing that I noticed about XTina, and I've had multiple meetings with her and been in rooms with her, is that she often uses the words we or us. She actually doesn't say me or I noticed that about her. I never actually told her this, but she's thinking about other people in the community around her. And I think that just shows to like the community aspect of why she even chose the coin name of the Woman Coin, which I think many of us have purchased and own to support this creator. So I think that is one thing to note, that she cares about the community and the broader mission, which ties back to llmind's vision as well. No worries, XTina. One of the ways I was able to meet XTina, of course, I knew about her prior, is she was introduced to us from Ed Nussbaum, who runs the Good Coin. He was one of the first creators to launch out of Clubhouse. So Ed, the network effect is starting to spread, and Ed has been extremely useful in helping us identify other creators to be onboarded. And we're seeing that network effect happen. People are bringing folks in. In fact, Bumani, the former face of the app, just pinged me this morning, said, I know somebody who's awesome. I want you to talk to this person. I don't know who it is yet, so I can't wait. So the network effect is certainly spreading. Well, XTina, we could hear you just fine prior when you were speaking. So when you are ready, it was a little scratchy, yeah, says Lewis, but we can come back to you.
Yeah, why don't we come back?
Okay, I'm here. Just
there you are.
Yeah, sorry about that. So I'm calling in from the phone, but I know the video may not be the most aesthetically pleasing.
No worries, we got you.
So thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I'm so humbled for the opportunity. And yes, I am, and I apologize for my technical difficulties that I've been experiencing. I have a love-hate relationship with Zoom at the moment, but yes, I am so grateful for the whole rally community. Jeremiah, Mahesh, you guys have been really amazing and very supportive, so I appreciate it. And also Alex Felt, he has been really, really helpful and supportive as of lately, and just kept me going. I am the founder of Woman Coin, and I'm so excited. This whole experience has been very serendipitous for me. I know that the pandemic, created, upended our lives, right, and really changed the quality of life for many people, myself included. And so I felt like this opportunity of supporting and helping women, specifically diverse women in business, was very timely and was a way for me to really help and give back. I really created what Women in Business, which is a brand. It was formed on Clubhouse, and I've been leveraging it to grow a community of women who are in need of support, right? Because, we've been one of the most vulnerable demographics during this time. So I started my Clubhouse community on Clubhouse in December of 2020, and it quickly and organically grew to over 300,000 members and followers collectively. And it's just been such an amazing experience. In a way, I created like an ecosystem for, women who are like-minded from all different walks of life, and in all different, regions as well, just literally like across the world. And so Yeah, it's been a really beautiful experience. Again, being very serendipitous, but also it's shown me how great I am and how the strength that I have of like community building, which is something in a way I've done all my life, right? I grew up in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and at the time that was over 27,000 of the percentage of the city's population was African American and Black, right? And so I've been in spaces, grew up in spaces where I've been, the only one, and I've had to find a sense of belonging. Even in my career, just very much male dominated. And so it's something that I'm an advocate for and I promote because I know what it feels like to be invisible or to be, underestimated or excluded. And so it's really something that I'm passionate about and in support of helping other women as well, gain opportunity. And so Rally has been a utility and has been a tool for me to reach that goal by creating economic participation and opportunity for women. Actively, I'm, using this as an incentive or reward for just participation in what the content that I've created to date, which has been a newsletter. We have ongoing program that offers resources and networking to women, and that's also something that I do daily. And it's really created just an amazing support system for many people, and that's really what drives me to continue. And I'm currently working on, leveraging these opportunities with brand partnerships to build out this full vision of creating a platform and marketplace that would allow for, direct activity, direct transactions, and women to support each other and their businesses and products. So I don't want to go on too long, but I'm really passionate about this, so I could really, just continue, but I would love to answer any questions. And thank you so much for bearing with me. It's been technical issues and
No
nervous,
worries.
but really, really excited to.
Oh, you're doing great. Maybe you could help quickly illustrate what would success look like with using your coin and with the community of women that are in your business network.
So it's a success to me. So, in December, a study done by the National Women's Law Center, they saw that there were 150,000 jobs that were lost, that women lost in December. And actually, like further detail, it was realized that it was actually women of color who lost these jobs. And so, my goal would be is really to have this coin, help support and use throughout like a marketplace. I want to create a marketplace. I want to have 154,000 that will grow to 154,000, women-owned businesses, and a directory is available as well. I think that is like a really great and incredible, measurable way to really continue driving the social impact that initiative that I've created over the past 4 months.
I love it, Christina. I really love how you think about others as well and getting them involved. My last question for you is, I've seen some of the stats out there that cryptocurrencies tend to be male dominated in terms of adoption, and we really got to get to parity and fix this. So how have you found that the women in your community, have they responded to Rally and the Women Token?
Yeah, that's a great question, Jeremiah, and that leads me to like my other initiative. The response has been so overwhelmingly positive to the introduction of this cryptocurrency idea. In fact, I hold a weekly event called Women in Crypto, and that's a forum and a space to allow women to, come ask questions, share interests and expertise, talk about any trending news. And so it's a 30-minute program that we host, and it does really well. I get so many follow-up questions. And one thing that I'm really hoping and aiming to do is, to create an ebook or an e-course that'll be available and provided to, women to kind of lower the barrier to entry, help women see that this is an approachable space, because ultimately I believe that if you have autonomy and control and knowledge over your finances and, you have economic opportunity, then, you can be empowered, you can be self-actualized, and you can, have freedom truly to be able to be yourself and pursue your passion and your livelihood, right? So I'm really, really excited about that, you know, the interest that of providing like a knowledge source or information, you know, along with my coin, right? I think that that's like a really, you know, it's complementary. And so that's a project that I'm hoping to connect with different partners to, you know, move this initiative forward and really use that as another way to market, you know, the opportunity to become a holder and supporter of WOMXN. I actually have also recently had a conversation with another woman who's interested in using it within her organization as well. And I think that that is a huge benefit to the way that I chose to brand the coin. You know, women, and if you guys will indulge me just for a minute, it's purposely, you know, spelled with an X, and it's meant to be, you know, it's a way to, it's an intersectional term, and it allows to say, hey, you know, my identities can coexist. I am valid, and it's, you know, like I am Black, I am a woman, right? I have multiple intersections, and so I really like this idea, or the social movement rather, behind the spelling of women. And I've noticed even that it's empowered others, and it really has actually created almost like a domino effect or a trend just on Clubhouse alone. Like, it's really fascinating. If you were to type in women, you'll see so many clubs that have just different areas of business, of lifestyle, of wellness, and all because like this movement was created, you know, empowerment, right? You know, celebrating your unique identity. So I'm really excited about just like the support that has happened, and it's been this multiplier effect really. And I even have people asking me if we can release merch. And so, you know, I have a lot of opportunities to, you know, look at and to implement. And so I'm really excited about this journey, and I'm excited to have these amazing other creators along with this as well. I've met some really incredible people who too are a part of this movement. And I think I've been so inspired by all of the individual, you know, initiatives and just other like ways to support and to, you know, just really provide impact to like our communities. And I noticed that that's been like the common theme between, you know, the industry overall. It's again, and going back to the quote, you know, to change the face of power, to, you know, decentralize, and to allow for more, you know, autonomy and more freedom of self-expression. And yeah, just all those great things.
Thank you, Christina. Really appreciate you. I purchased some of your coins, some of which I'll give to my young daughters when they're of appropriate age. So thank you. And also shout out to your business partner, Kyle Sykes, who is crypto literate and has been helping all of us and you as well in this project. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Jeremiah. Thank you, Christina. That was great. Thank you, guys. Now we have a couple minutes left for audience Q&A. If there's any questions, please post in chat and we'll get to them. We have a couple of minutes to answer a few. If you have questions for llmind, if you have questions for XTina, if you have questions for Jeremiah, myself, Mike, Mahesh, Kevin, anyone on the team. Yeah, you could really hear the passion coming out of Christina's voice. That was a very, very uplifting interview / call. I love that. It was really nice. Yeah, Lewis, we're still going through those applications right now. You should be notified here in the next week. We just are a little backlogged, but we will be getting to those as well. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and close the call there. And our next call is going to be April 16th. Same time, same place. I just want to say a big thanks again to llmind and Christina coming on and chatting with us. And thank you, Jeremiah, for talking to XTina and the WOMXN and Blap coins. So thank you guys again. Wanted to say have a great weekend, and we will talk to you guys April 16th. Thank you, guys.